1980, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger hadn't competed in 5 years. He showed up the morning of the contest, and announced he was entering. No warning, no build-up, just Arnold, walking into the room like he owned it. Because in a way, he did. The promoter was Paul Graham, Arnold's close friend. And that same day, a documentary called The Comeback was being filmed about Arnold's return. 2 separate productions, same circle of people. The conflict of interest wasn't even hidden. Of the 7 judges, 3 had direct personal ties to Arnold. And hours before the show, veteran Judge Peter McCarthy was removed from the panel, replaced by someone whose judging credentials had been revoked 2 months earlier for bad judging. What the audience saw, a bodybuilder past his prime, soft, underprepared. Boyer Coe said Arnold had legs that looked like they belonged in a chicken nest. Bill Pearl, who withdrew from judging to avoid a conflict, was asked where he'd place Arnold. He said 5th. The judges put him 1st. The crowd booed. Chris Dickerson jumped off stage yelling, "I can't believe it." Frank Zane reportedly threw his trophy against the wall. Mike Mentzer ran across the room toward Arnold in a rage. Arnold sat down in the corner. Mentzer never competed again. CBS had sent a full crew to Sydney to broadcast the contest. After watching what happened, they shelved the entire production, never aired it. The sport handed its biggest title to the man whose friends were running the show. 1981, Franco Columbu. The 1980 scandal almost broke the sport. The IFBB's response? Make it worse. Frank Zane, Mike Mentzer, Boyer Coe all boycotted the 1981 Olympia in protest. The federation promised reform. Independent judges, new scoring systems, a clean slate. Then, they gave the title to Arnold's best friend. Franco Columbu hadn't competed since 1976, after destroying his knee at the World's Strongest Man. He came back at 40, visibly carrying water, one shoulder noticeably higher than the other from the injury. Tom Platz stood next to him in mandatory poses and looked like he was from a different sport. Chris Dickerson, who had boycotted the year before, changed his mind and showed up. He looked better than Franco. Everyone knew it. Every man in the top 5 received a winning score from at least one judge. The panel couldn't even agree on who had the best physique. Franco still took the Sandow. The year after, he didn't defend. Retired immediately. Chris Dickerson won in 1982, the title most people believe he deserved twice over. The sport corrected itself quietly. No apology, no acknowledgement. 2 years in a row. Same circle, different name, same result. 1997, Nasser El Sanbadi versus Dorian Yates. Dorian Yates walked onto the 1997 Olympia stage with 3/4 of his triceps severed from the bone, torn 3 weeks before the show. You could see it from the front row. Nasser El Sanbadi walked on full, balanced, and looked like the better bodybuilder from every angle. Jay Cutler said it, Ronnie Coleman said it, the crowd said it. The judges gave Yates his 6th consecutive title anyway. The argument was always the same. Dorian's back. Even injured, his rear double bicep was a different category from everyone on that stage. Nasser dominated from the front and side, but didn't dismantle Dorian from behind. In Olympia judging, a strong challenge isn't enough. You have to be better everywhere. But here's what nobody talks about. 2 hours after the contest ended, the results were amended. Jay Cutler versus Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman woke up the morning of the 2001 Olympia feeling like he was going to die. He fainted backstage, called his nutritionist and said forget the show. He was going to the hospital. His nutritionist talked him out of it, told him to drink a gallon of water. Ronnie drank the whole thing and showed up. His own words. I was totally dehydrated. I was thinking I was going to die. That's the man Jay Cutler faced at pre-judging. And Cutler beat him. Won the symmetry round, won the muscularity round, built a 6-point lead going into the finals. Ronnie himself admitted he was surprised he didn't win pre-judging. Then the finals happened. Ronnie came back fuller, tighter, and the judges who'd scored Cutler ahead just hours earlier flipped. Coleman won his 4th title. There's one more thing. A month later, Cutler failed a diuretics test and had his 2nd place stripped. He sued and won because the testing lab had lost its official accreditation. He kept his placing. Everything stood. Jay Cutler said it publicly years later. Ronnie Coleman was in his prime when I should have won in 2001. The scoreboard says Coleman won. The prejudging said something else. Nobody ever fully explained what changed in those hours between the two. 2007, Victor Martinez versus Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler showed up to the 2007 Olympia sick, planned to come in at 295. His weight dropped to 265, 10 pounds under. At prejudging, Victor Martinez was ahead. Better conditioning, more dramatic V-taper, fuller muscle bellies from every angle. Milo Sarkev said it to Cutler's face on his own podcast. Victor, Dennis Wolf, and Dexter Jackson all beat you. Even Cutler didn't argue. I was better one night than the other. Victor Martinez described the moment he knew. Standing in the final call-out, he felt good. He looked at the judges. The judges weren't looking back. It was like they didn't want to accept what their eyes were telling them. That's when they stuck it to me. Ronnie Coleman had told him backstage he was going to win. He'd won the Arnold Classic earlier that year. He walked in as the hottest bodybuilder alive. The judges chose the defending champion with the bigger name. Milo Sarkev called it directly, judging was more biased to names. Jay Cutler agreed. He just also said he was glad he won. 2014. Kai Green versus Phil Heath. By 2014, Kai Green had finished 2nd to Phil Heath 3 consecutive times. He signed autographs that year as Mr. Olympia 2014. He meant it. What he brought to that stage was the best package of his career. The conditioning, the density, the posing nobody could replicate. The fans voted him the winner. Fans' Choice Award. The crowd wanted Kai. At prejudging, Heath was visibly regressing between rounds, softer and flatter as the day went on. Analysts noted the panel wrapped prejudging faster than expected. Then, during finals, Heath started crowding Kai on stage, getting in his space. The two men were squaring up in front of the entire world before officials stepped in. And Kai Green was the one penalized. He said it himself years later. If he'd kept his cool, he might have won. The confrontation gave the judges exactly the separation they needed. Phil Heath wins. 4th consecutive title. Kai never